Hello and welcome to Phizzfest 2012. Yes, the UK has the Olympics, but Phizzborough has Phizzfest. Quite frankly, the best small festival for a community anywhere in the world. Fact.
You're all well, yeah? Yeah! It's great to see you all. My name is John Murray, and I hope you enjoy the walk that's going to take place over the next couple of hours. So, after 3, 2, 1, you can start walking.
Those hidden pipes then are what, how many years old?
1938.
1938, that's 74 years old.
74, yeah.
And do they improve with age?
Well, I've made a few modifications with them. Hollow stop for wind. It's kind of like a bell. At this part you can tune it to, these are in the key of C sharp. So you can get the wood of that stop tuned. But like a bell, you take a bit off at the time and tune it, the wood on the inside. But I make the reeds myself, so all the reeds are homemade.
You know when you hear somebody say, the person you're about to hear from, there's no need to introduce him, and then goes on to introduce him, so I'm not going to introduce him. I'm not even going to say who he is. He's not quite from Phizzborough, but he's a stone's throw away. He was born in Ormond Square, which some of you may know is go down Church Street, go into the left, and it's just off the quays. He was born there and learned his football there, literally in the square outside his house. We'll talk about that in a moment. And that's one point in his career, and the other point in his career was probably a lot of us will know who are over a certain age, was of course just up the road in Dailyland Park.
When I was a kid, Bows were an amateur club, and as an amateur club they couldn't keep the best players, so they were always struggling, as you know, which they would do in those days, because you got rovers and drums, and they paid the players a few bob. So mostly Bow's outstanding players would go at the end of most seasons, But I used to go and watch balls fairly regularly because I used to play on a Saturday afternoon in relation to some of the other. My father was manager of Drum Conduit around that time. But like balls were always a special club. I think the father played for balls for a while when he was a young fella. But you know, we used to go to Dalymount on a Saturday. There wouldn't be many there at that time because they weren't doing very well, which you wouldn't expect from an amateur club.
His knees riveted to the underside of a bar counter. His hot breath and soft voice draw you in. His eyes have grown heavy and tired from shaping the world. Without visible trace of emotion, he is Christ on the cross of opinion, suffering insights that drop like cluster bombs. No pope, no king, no neighbour is spared.
Now I don't like that. The Joyce box is out. My father's dying words to me. Don't sell the Joyce stuff. Keep it. It's ours.
You and the grass and the trees. We are living amongst the live breeze. We're better beneath our own mattress. Oh, you got me everywhere. Oh, you got me riding home down that road I've been longing to roam. There's a girl I love so, and she's waiting there, I know. Oh,
and I was living in what we used to call the flats. There was everybody knows Ormond Square, there's cottages and there's flats. But we lived in flats, which was 2 bedrooms, 2 rooms with a pantry. And it wasn't unusual in those days, but there was 9 of us all together. Because my grandmother and grandfather lived with us, and of course my mother and father, and 5 kids, so there was 9 of us all together.
And you slept in your grandparents' bed?
I slept with my grandmother and my grandfather and my brother. And I never slept as well in all my life, to be honest. Because we were playing football, you know, I talk about it obviously a lot because I was born into a working class environment. There was no money around, but Ormond Square was ideal for playing football. Because there weren't many cars in those days, but there was no cars coming in around the square, and you had obviously 4 sides in the square. You could play football, and some of the neighbours got a bit fed up. They'd say, right, off to the other side of the square and play. So you had 4 choices to play. But I was playing football from morning to night, and the fact that I was born into a poor family didn't affect me at all.
They shot MacDonagh and Pearson Plunkett. They shot MacDermott and Clark the Brave. From bleak Kilmainham they took Cant's body to Arbour Hill to a quicklime grave. But last of all the 7 captains, a dying man, they shot Connolly, the Labour leader, the voice of freedom, who gave his life that men might be free.
It's the interaction between people that brings about a level of happiness. I was delighted, and I'm sure I can share this with my wife, that the people to whom we spoke to today have enlightened our lives a little bit. But when you put it all together, and when one meets all the various people and look at all their outlook on life, you can see it from all the people here today who have made comments, who have made a contribution to this meeting. To me, it has enriched each of us to some degree or other. I'm delighted I came here today, just even to meet people that we have never met before and to hear their opinions. And I would like to thank each and every one of you.
arms of summer opened wide. Day the arms of summer opened wide. Song came on the radio, the love that burned like fire. Told the things that cannot be denied. When love is one, you know it don't divide. Love is one, you know it don't divide. Did you see the rushing river? Did you feel the rising tide? Coming for to carry you home to the other side. City streets, the air went still and quiet. City streets, the air went still and quiet. I cried for something yet to be, as for the light that died.